Hey everyone, it's Algranath here from Return of the Fan, and critic reviews are arriving for Ghostbusters Afterlife. And just as I suspected, basically the woke reviewers are going after Ghostbusters Afterlife because it doesn't conform to their woke narratives as usual. So um, we're going to go through some of the snippets of these reviews. You can go and see the actual full reviews yourself later on if you want to. And I'm going to do a separate video on a really poor review from a woke critic reviewer from The Guardian, so that's going to come up in the next video. I said in one of my previous videos that I was a bit worried if it was going to be too much of a kiddie movie and so on. But after reading some of the comments from these so-called critics, I'm going to give them the finger and I'm going to go and see the movie. I don't care if I don't like it or not. I'm going to go and see it to support it. So if you're against wokeness in movies and in entertainment, go and see this movie just to give these woke reviewers the two fingers. So let's have a look. So you can see it in Metacritic. Is it Metacritic? I think it is. It's got 62%, 62 out of 100, with 7 positive reviews, 3 mixed reviews, and 1 negative review. So here what some of the critics are saying. Rosie Knight at IGN gives the film a 90. She writes, director Jason Reitman does his father and fans proud with a funny, sweet, and spooky family movie that takes on the legacy of Ghostbusters while introducing something exciting and new. Okay, so that's quite interesting. Doesn't really talk about anything woke there. Johnny Oleksinski at the New York Post gives the movie an 88. Reitman finds the perfect tone here. He's also skilled at getting genuine performance out of young actors, as he proved in Juno, and balancing humour with stakes, essential for comedy horror like Ghostbusters. The jokes are very funny, and Wolfhard and Grace make life-threatening peril look like a ball. So that's one of the things about the original Ghostbusters. They weren't comedy movies. They were a mixture of comedy and horror, right? How many people freaked out the first time they saw the ghost in the library, which turned around and gave you a jump scare? So there was a really good mix of horror and comedy in the movie. It wasn't just all comedy all the way through, which is what the pathetic reboot Ghostbusters 2016 tried to do. They just tried to go all comedy, and it was an abject failure. Jane Crowther at Total Film gives the movie an 80. She writes, warm, witty, and full of wonder. Afterlife reanimates the franchise without spitting on its grave. So that's a good point, right? They're trying to pay respect to the original movies and build on from that. You don't want to deviate anything too far from the original movies, because then you're going to alienate your fan base, right? I mean, you've got a built-in audience. You should be catering to that audience and give them what they want, and they will give you money. How hard is it for these woke people in Hollywood to understand that? At least Jason Reitman understands that, right? So we start getting down to some people that give lower scores. Sherry Linden at the Hollywood Reporter gives the film an 80. She writes, as a franchise update, origin story, coming of age movie, comedy and indulgent FX extravaganza, the feature written by the director and Gil Keenan hits all its marks. So I don't know why she calls it indulgent FX extravaganza. I mean, pretty much everything these days will probably have really good special effects, right? Ollie Richards at Empire gives the movie an 80. He writes, it's always fun, inventive, and full of charm. If you have any concerns, it's that Jason Reitman's film might sully the legacy of his dad's greatest creation. There's nothing to be afraid of. So it looks like, again, they've paid respect to the original movies, which is what fans are wanting, right? They don't want everything to be shit over by some sort of crap reboot like the Ghostbusters 2016 was. And I'm so glad I didn't go and watch that movie. William Bibiani at The Wrap gives the movie a 71. He states Reitman's direction may be sharp and professional, but that's only in the service of familiar material, so it falls to an excellent cast to make the most of a very repetitive situation. So here's the first thing that all of these woke reviewers are going against, is that they shouldn't be providing fan service, giving fans what they want. Of course you should be giving fans what they want, because that's your audience. That's the people who are going to give you money to go and see your movie. Right? It should have something new and interesting, but it should build on the legacy of the previous movies. Peter DeBruge at Variety gives the movie a 70. He writes, good news for Ghostbusters fans is that Afterlife does nothing to tarnish what has come before. I guess you'd have to read the review why it gave it only 70. Christian Holub at Entertainment Weekly gives the film a 58. He writes, there are some jokes here. Paul Rudd brings a little lightness to the proceedings as the kid's science teacher, but it's hard to escape the overall sensation of, well, a corpse being exhumed. Again, another one that doesn't like the fan service. Well, it's probably not made for you, Christian. It's made for the fans, as everything should be made for the fans because we give the money. Jesse Hessinger at AV Club gives the movie a 50. He states, Afterlife wants desperately to summon the spirit of watching the first movie back in 1984. It winds up ghoulish in the wrong way. I don't mind if they give me feels for the original movies. That's what I'm wanting. I'm a fan of those movies. Again, it goes down. Courtney Howard at IndieWire gives the movie a 50. She writes, Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters Afterlife hits the reboot button once more, this time carrying a familiar cinematic legacy. Yet with all the nostalgia packed into the movie, its own refurbished identity is slightly compromised, functioning as a mimeograph of what came before it. No, that's what the fans are wanting. Just watch the box office. It's what the fans are wanting. We want it to carry on the legacy. We don't want anything too different to what we've had before. We want it to carry on and be respectful. I'm going to talk about this review in a separate video because I want to go into it in a bit more detail. So Charles Bramesco at The Guardian, the woke Guardian, leftist rag, gives the movie a 20. He writes, here we can find a damning summary of modern Hollywood default mode, a nostalgia object drained of personality and fitted into a duly palatable mold, custom made for a fandom that worships everything and respects nothing. Actually, the fandom respects everything about the movies. It's you woke people that actually respect nothing, right? You're the ones that want to destroy things that the fans like, destroy the fandom. So you are the actual people that respect nothing, Charles Bramesco. You're the person that doesn't respect anything. The fans actually hugely respect their movies. I'm going to do a separate video on this one. Rotten Tomatoes gives the film an 81% on the tomato meter from 32 reviews. So that sounds quite good. Just remember how Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter is actually given. Basically, if someone gives the film at least a 6 out of 10, then you get a fresh tomato. And then the percentage is how many people gave a fresh tomato. So if everyone gave a 6 out of 10, you would still get a 100% rating on the tomato meter, which doesn't mean the film's 100% good. It just means 100% of people gave it a 6 out of 10. And again, I need to do another review on how all the woke critics respond to movies using Rotten Tomatoes, because that's a very interesting thing as well. So a lot of critics are basically reducing the movie's score. I'm not going to carry on. This is it in Bounding into Comics. Go to that website and you can have a read. Again, it just goes into talking about how it pays ample amounts of respect to the original, a homage, a continuation of the movie. So those are good ones. Then going down to some of the bad ones. Where is it? Down the bottom here somewhere. The past is sweetly honoured, but for the first time in nearly 40 years, another generation can finally claim Ghostbusters as their own. Oh yeah, I guess not too bad on that one. So basically, most of the comments about the movie which isn't good is from the woke people, bemoaning the fact that the filmmakers have given people fan service and what they want. The woke narrative in Hollywood is that they produce things that they want us to want, and we should just want it and we should just like it, which is not how it works, right? So don't give woke people money, right? So if a movie is woke and it has an agenda in it, don't go and see it. Don't give them your money. That's the only way that these people in woke Hollywood will actually understand. Right, let me know what you think. I'm going to go and see the movie if I ever get out of lockdown here in New Zealand. Otherwise, I'll pay to watch it at some other way. I want to support the people that created Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I think on the whole it's looking pretty good. Hopefully it's not too much of a kiddie movie, but otherwise everything else sounds really good about this particular movie. I'm glad it has lots of fan service, because that's what the fans want, and we will give you money for that. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Have you been able to see the movie yet? If you have, what are your thoughts? No spoilers, please. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you're welcome to give me a thumbs down. If you like my content, please give me a subscription, and hopefully I will catch you in the next episode.